Good morning everybody and welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're back with another market analysis. Things have been really crazy this month leading up to the nightmare of Ashihama, so I thought I would do another market analysis at the end of the month. First and foremost, I'm going to get this out of the way. A couple days ago there was some serious bad data going to the OSBuddy APIs, so there definitely was some incorrect prices. But what made it really challenging is on top of incorrect data, which showed really crazy price spikes and crashes and stuff like that, there was also some legitimate items that were doing that, so it was kind of hard to differentiate what was correct and what was incorrect. We have the removal of Bounty Hunter, which has severely affected a few prices. Chief among them is the emblem drops from Revenants, because once again, you can't trade them in. This is the second time that this has happened, so that's pretty interesting. And of course, everything is just generally rising up for the Nightmare of Ashihama because there's lots of speculation on what is going to be best at the new PVM boss. I'm just at home pretty much just praying that the Twisted Bow is not the best in slot item there, because we're so close to finishing our series and the Twisted Bow is on a sharp upturn right now. So I'm kind of like leisurely jogging at the Twisted Bow, and now the Twisted Bow has started running, so we're not really making much progress currently. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed the video and let's get started. Okay, so the first item I really want to talk about here is the Scythe of ITER. Now, the Scythe has been going up for quite a while now, but there's been a few other developments that has caused it to spike in price much higher than probably what would have happened naturally. So let's have a look at the Scythe of ITER over the last couple of months. So ever since pretty much December, it's been on a steady climb, but notably around here, there was a drastic price increase from around 650 mil all the way up to around 800 mil just in a couple of days. Now, I was wondering what that was about for a long time, but the reason that there was such a drastic price increase was actually due to one of the Q&As, where they mentioned that the new Nightmare boss is a 5x5 boss, meaning the Scythe of ITER could be best in slot very easily, as the Scythe is more effective on larger monsters. Now, if we go to the week view, it started at 728 at the beginning of the week, peaked at around 880 mil, and now has started to crash back down again. Now, I believe this price spike right here is actually incorrect data. I'm going to verify it against a few other items in a minute here. Okay, another item that was affected in a somewhat similar way is actually the Elder Maul. Now, if we have a look at the Elder Maul, there was a drastic price increase around January 20th. Actually, the item was decreasing in price rather quickly until that date. Now, the reason for that is very similar to the Scythe, and that was during the Q&A, they actually show an Elder Maul being used at the new Nightmare boss. Now, that is not very indicative of it actually being the best in slot item. I would say that the moderators would be less likely to actually reveal what item they think is going to be the best. It's unlikely that the Elder Maul will be the best just because of its slow attack speed. But just from speculation, it went from 11 mil all the way up to 18 mil in a single day, nearly doubling in price. And even today, it is still hovering about 20-30% more than before the Q&A. Now, once again, around the January 25th, January 24th time, we can see some very weird data points going down to 11 mil for like a couple hours and going back up. If we have a look at the Arcane Spirit Shield, we can see once again on January 24th, that day it was actually showing 15 mil, so obviously not correct. And then going up to 140 mil. If we have a look at the Lance, we can see on that day it went up to 119 mil from 95. Once again, not correct data. The Direct Enter Crossbow once again has a few weird price spikes, so we can pretty much ignore that. I went ahead and price checked a few items that day, and these prices were not correct. Okay, another really interesting thing that happened this week is the removal of Bounty Hunter, and that has had a pretty significant effect on a few different items. Like I said, one of the big ones was the ancient items from the Wilderness drop table. They have removed, I think, Bounty Hunter Worlds, or you're no longer able to actually trade those items in. Now, this was, as far as I am aware, unintentional, and they will be adding in another method to do so as soon as possible, but that is actually the second time that they have done this. So I'm not normally going to be giving investing advice here, but this would be a pretty good investment because there's a very slim chance that they are just going to not add them back in somewhere. I don't know, that'd be really strange. So right now we're looking at the Ancient Effigy. Normally trades for around 8 mil or maybe 100k less than 8 mil, and I bought some actually at 7.3 mil the other day, so a 700k discount. Now, I didn't want to hold them for long enough, but we still made quite a bit of money flipping them. Of course, when there's no way to actually trade in these emblems, they start piling up and people start selling them for cheaper on the Grand Exchange, even though everyone knows their value is held in place around 8 mil. Just the fear and the excess supply is causing the item to tank in price, even though there should be no real reason for it to do so. We have the Ancient Emblem, which is doing something similar, just to a lesser degree, going from around 500k down to around 450k. The Ancient Relic doing a similar thing, going from around 16 mil down to around 15.5 mil, something like that. Now on the other side of this, there are a few items that now have no supply coming in because they have been removed from the game, essentially discontinued on a very short-term basis. One very popular item is the Ornate Maul Handle. Now just in case you're not aware, with the removal of the Bounty Hunter update essentially, the reward shop is now closed. There is no way to actually buy these items currently, although they will be added in the near future. Now one of the more used items was the Ornate Maul Handle, and before the removal it was around 400k, very quickly shooting up to almost 3 times its price. I heard some people buying it for around 1.2 mil when the update was removed, and most likely will increase in price until another announcement is made, and then everything is going to probably crash right back down. I'm still quite surprised that when they removed it, they didn't immediately add it in somewhere else. It is quite strange that even in a transition period, having items that aren't available, like for example, the Rune Pouch is very difficult for some accounts to obtain now. The Ornate Maul Handle is not really possible for some people, in addition to everything else that was in the Bounty Hunter reward shop. And one last item I wanted to talk about, that wasn't actually in the Bounty Hunter shop, but was in the LMS shop, which they made a change to at the very same time, is the Truver Parchment. Now what they did there is they actually reduced the points required to buy it, which means it went from around 1 mil down to 600, 700k pretty much immediately. So this month has provided us with quite a few different investing options, and all of these prices are getting drastically affected just by very vague statements in Q&As, blog posts, stuff like that. That is the only tangible information we have to work off of, because we really don't know what is going to be the future of these items. We don't know when the reward shop is coming back. We don't know if or when they are going to add in another Bounty Hunter trader for the wilderness items. There's just a lot of speculation this month. Now with a new PVM boss like the Nightmare getting released, it's not just PVM gear that's going up. Of course, resource items are going to be going up very quickly as well. So I thought I would have a quick look at this because I'm getting a lot of questions this month about farming, like Renar seeds, Snapdragon seeds. All of that is going up in price, and mainly because those produce very important items for PVM, like Saradomin brews, Perp potions, sharks. They're all highly used food items. So at the beginning of January, sharks actually were only worth around 900 each, and now on the run up to the Nightmare, they have gone up about 30 or 40% in price, currently worth around 1230. So very good if you're cooking sharks right now, I think. We have Renar weeds or Renar seeds that have also gone up in price very steadily since back in January, actually almost doubling in price. Of course, Renar seed makes Renar weeds, which makes a Perp potion, and those have actually gone up quite a bit as well. Gone from around 10k up to 12k. Same thing for Snapdragons, pretty much right after the Christmas holidays and the New Year, started at around 50k for Snapdragon seeds, now worth around 70k. And a very similar story for the Saradomin brew. Those have actually been going up for a long time now. So at the beginning of the year, they were worth 2.5 thousand each. Currently, as of this week, they peaked at 6.5k. It's probably good that Saradomin brews are actually worth something again. Now, what's really interesting to me is when super restores are worth the same amount as Perp potion, but they are kind of linked. Perp potions can't really go above super restores, as super restores are just objectively better, and if Perp potions are more expensive, people just start buying super restores, thus decreasing the price of the Perp potion. The super restore, of course, could always go up more, and it definitely is going up, but I would say mainly because of the Perp potion. Okay, and last up here, I wanted to have a look at the Twisted Lee rewards. Oh, how I was very lucky with this and not at all correct. I really thought the scarcity of the item would pretty much force it to continue going upwards, but that does not seem to be the case, or at least not yet. We may even have to wait longer and longer. While the Twisted Blueprints did see a peak at about 28 mil about a week ago, since then they have decreased in price pretty dramatically, losing about 10 mil of their value. Now there was definitely some issues in my logic when I initially invested in these items. First up here, the Twisted Blueprint and the Twisted Horn are not actually consumed permanently. You can get them back and sell them back on the Grand Exchange, so the amount of them in game is not actually ever going to be decreasing that quickly. Same thing for the Twisted Horn, peaking at around 25 mil and now down to about 20 mil, and the Twisted Teleport Scroll doing something kind of similar. And my second big mistake is that these items are cosmetic, which means their value is based purely on 1, how good they look, and 2, the rarity of the item. And I guess just both of these factors aren't present. I'm still kind of hopeful that in the next month or two, if we don't hear anything about the next league, these items could very well increase in value quite a bit. But that was a pretty long-term game, which I'm not really comfortable doing. So I think that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about this week. A lot going on, and a lot is going to continue to happen leading up to the new update. Probably one of the biggest updates in about a year, really. Anyway, guys, I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, I would appreciate it if you took the time to leave me some feedback, leave it a like, just smash your mouse down on something on my video, and I will be happy. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next time.